Hello there, welcome to Fridays at Noon. I'm Michael Chen, the executive producer and director for this talk show series. Fridays at Noon is a bi-weekly lunch and learn series that offers education on professional development topics to the University of Denver employees. For more information and to view past videos, please visit du.edu/HR and click on the People Development link. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
And bring your lunch.
Oh, and bring your lunch.
Welcome to the special edition of Fridays at Noon. My name is Ken Pennock. I'm the Director of People Development for the University of Denver, and I am pleased to share with you today about a new program we have called the Leadership Academy. And with me is Greg Geeson, our Manager of Employee Development, or I should say correctly, People Development, as we're our new emphasis really for faculty and staff around different programs we have. And so, welcome. And
Thank you, Ken.
this is an exciting program we have. I mean, this program, the Leadership Academy, ties directly into the chancellor's, focus groups and strategic plan in terms of supporting staff and faculty to be effective leaders to grow our institution. And we're lucky that you're here bringing you on, and so there's just a lot to talk about.
Yeah, you bet.
So welcome. And we're going to get to some of the practical matters of the program, but first I want to look this big picture because I'm an HR guy, and all we hear about is leadership development wherever you go. And I guess, why is this topic of leadership it's ever present wherever you go, good or bad?
I mean, there's a lot of ways to answer that. I would say to me, leadership development is not tied to position, title, rank in the organization. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a leader at all levels. And so I think it crosses that whole spectrum, and I think that's probably why it's so popular. And probably the term's overused to some point, because everybody's throwing it out. But I still think it's a critical piece, and it shouldn't be tied to just a program or a class or a project, or a position or title. It's really about people stepping up and really discovering who they are and taking it to the next level. And however that looks and wherever it looks, I think more power to those programs.
Well, and what's nice about this is, what you're developing is really zeroing in our community here at DU. And why is it important here, right now? This is such a topic at the university.
I mean, you might be a better judge of that because you've been here longer. In my 1 year, I think it's been missing. I mean, missing in terms of the training and development side of it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so we try and throw a class out here, something out here, but it's not really leadership development per se. And so we've got to take the lead. And I think this is our opportunity, here at DU to create something for staff and faculty, and something that's cost effective and that they can do, and then they can have the guidance of all the people we bring in to help kind of coach and develop them.
And so I know the research you've been doing and working around campus, this program, the Academy, really, it aligns with other programs such as in Daniels or different kinds of leadership programs going on. So with that, I mean, how is the Leadership Academy different than some of the other programs we've had or that we have going on?
I guess one way I'd want to answer that is because I've been involved in a lot of other leadership academies. They call them all different things. But as a speaker, for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And, there is certainly a common structure. And same thing you can see even in the Daniels programs, their emerging leader or their high performance leadership program, where it's a group of cohorts, mm-hmm. 15, 25 people come together for a period of time, take a series of classes, and it's kind of like almost like a graduate school format.
Mm-hmm.
And different instructors, and they kind of grow and develop together. They have subgroups, little accountability groups, things like that. And in many cases, there might be some kind of group project at the end.
And
that's the standard.
Okay.
So we took the standard and we tried to enhance it. And part of the way I think we enhanced it here at DU with this program is, and again, this is just based on my research, but most of the programs have a variety of like generic leadership topics: conflict resolution, personality assessment,
communication,
coaching, communication.
Right.
Really things you could also find those kind of classes in a supervisory skills program as well.
Right.
Which we're also creating. We'll talk about that later. So we worked with Daniels on purpose so that our program would complement their program and not compete with it.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that, that was important. Well, they're doing more of the traditional topics, and that's not a criticism. I think they do it extremely well.
Right. And they cater to a different audience.
Yeah.
Kind of the business industry,
Yeah.
so to speak.
With, I might add, limited seats for DU staff and faculty
Right.
to be able to take.
And this is really geared for us.
Yeah. And no expense. It's free. But
Right.
the other point I wanted to make is that, it gave me an opportunity to take one topic and really enhance it throughout this program instead of add all these little bits and pieces, from a multitude of topics.
Right.
So ours is, of course, going to be developing the leader from within, which every class we have, including from the orientation all the way through graduation, are different components to bring out the leader within and for people to really show up as leaders in their lives, first and foremost.
Which fits well that the leader isn't just the one that's in the formal role.
Right.
It's not just the vice chancellor or the director or the manager.
Yeah, very
You can
intentional
lead an
on our
initiative.
part.
So then, with that being said, what's the target audience as you see it?
Yeah, well, see, that's
as
a good
we're
point.
starting.
Again, with the traditional programs, they're usually a target audience might be a level of leadership in an organization. Where you have to already have a certain amount of experience leading people to even get in. And I don't, maybe that is the formula down the road, or if we have multiple versions of this, but for us, it's if you're in a leadership position or if you aspire to be in one.
Okay.
So that could be somebody from the front lines all the way to a vice chancellor, literally, could get the same amount out of this program because the topic we're talking about is relevant to everybody.
So it's really nothing, it's not exclusionary,
Yeah.
if you will.
Not only that, as you recall, Ken, when we had various HR liaison meetings where we introduced the concept. We polled people and we asked them, should this be for people, front level leadership, mid-level leadership, or people without a leadership position? And the feedback we got here at DU was very clear, which was don't restrict it.
Yep.
And so we're going to try that, and that's unusual for most leadership programs. Usually they'll tailor it to a certain level. We're going to try this, and if it works, this will be great.
And I think what I appreciate about this is that you've worked with leaders and organizations from all kinds, as I have, and senior level people struggle with very many of the same things that a brand new supervisor does. There are differences, to not minimize that, but at the end of the day, many of the challenges are much the same.
Yeah, and I'll speak for a lot of people at the university, and this isn't about DU. This is about anywhere. You're never finished learning as a leader, and for someone to think, "Oh, I've done that already," 15 years ago, so I'm looking. No, I would say then come back in. What are you role modeling to the people you're working with about continuous growth and development?
That's right.
And we also know there's a lot of leaders, not just here, everywhere, that really could use some back in the classroom training
They
to kind of
can.
regroup
Right.
and get back those skills that they might have started with that maybe somehow they've lost a little bit.
And I think what's nice about the time here, at this point in DU's history, there's tremendous support and focus to do just that.
Yes.
And pushing that support through deans, chairs,
Yeah.
directors, and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
well, then with that though, so kind of tell us a little bit about the program. I mean, what are some of the key points of the program, and then the application?
Okay. Well, the gist of the program is it starts in January, and applications. We'll talk more about this, but people can apply up till November 4th, and then we'll go through the selection process in a minute. But so it starts in January with an orientation, and it's a 2-day orientation with an overnight, and the group will be together in the evening, go out to dinner. We're going to stay at a hotel off-site, to bond, and we're going to do a combination of things, team building. We're going to introduce some of the critical themes from inclusive excellence to authentic leadership to, we're even going to do the DISC.
Yep.
Is it
Profile.
DISC profile,
Right.
So that they learn about each other, how to work together. They know what the foundation of the program is, and they're already thinking about leadership from a whole different perspective. And that's going to happen. So that's going to kind of ground them. And we're going to start forming accountability teams. So let's say we have a group of 12 to 15. There'll be subgroups where they're coaching each other throughout the 6 months of the program.
Okay.
And the program will last 6 months, and they'll meet formally every 3 weeks for a half day. And those half days will be outside instructor on a different angle of the leading from within concept. And then they'll have some little bit of group work. And then we're expecting them to do some things on their own as groups, because we'll talk about the project shortly. But there will be a group project simultaneously going on throughout the 6 months and really essentially being completed by the end of the 6 months.
So it's a contained program.
It's a contained program, and the group projects within that time frame as well.
So then what is the application process? Because I've gotten questions. People say, well, I've heard that multiple people from a department or division can't apply at the same time.
Right.
And that's not accurate.
No, it's not accurate. Well, first off, okay, so by November 4th, they fill in an application, which is on our website. It's a Qualtrics, kind of thing that they fill out.
Right.
Mostly essay questions, so it's not something you can just rattle off, because we want to know what you're thinking about these particular areas. And then your immediate supervisor also has to complete, I think we're calling it a statement of support, which is just acknowledging that they support this person and they're going to give them the time off, and why this person should be in the program, because I want to hear that as well. Okay, so there's that piece, and those are all due by November 4th.
Okay.
And then we have a professional development advisory group on campus, representative of people in leadership development across campus. And there's a subgroup there that's going to do the initial interview. They're going to first weed out from the applications, who should get an interview, who shouldn't. And then they're going to actually do actual interviews. And by Thanksgiving, I think, is when we're going to select the 12 to 15 people. Okay. So that's that part. As far as multiple people from a department, it's not a hard rule. We want anybody and everybody to apply, regardless. But if we get 20, 30 applicants and we can only take 12 to 15, and because inclusive excellence is a big piece of this whole program, we're going to want a diverse group. And to do that, we may not be able to have 2 people from the same department.
Right.
Because if we have an opportunity to have it even more broader based, so that this collective group can really grow and develop as a unit, that's when we would make that decision.
But that's consistent with inclusion, which is very broad. And in this example, it could be also from around the campus community.
Yeah, so that's not saying it can't happen, because there's some huge departments,
right,
and
there are
it might
some
make
big
sense
units
to have 2 people from the same. But
right.
generally speaking, we probably won't do that.
Okay. So, if as a participant I get in, what does that look like? I mean, what What's my next 6
Yeah.
months going to look like in terms of what I'm going to need to do?
You know, here's the important thing, and this is going to be a challenge for some of the people, and that is that we're looking for a commitment. And I don't mean like, to go into it going, well, I should be able to make, 3/4. No, we're looking for people that are fully engaged, where I can do all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So the orientation, come to the orientation, attend all the classes, be at graduation, be an active participant throughout the 6 months, be an active participant in the group project.
Okay, so
I mean, that's the expectation, because that's leadership, and that's the kind of leadership we're trying to
Right.
instill. Not, work's piling up. I really got to miss this month. That is not going to go over very
because that relationship that's built in January, people are going to have to depend on each other to get through.
Yeah, and that's not to say that emergencies will come up or
Right.
people are going to miss something, and we're going to handle that two ways.
Mm-hmm.
One is the general ground rule is we expect you to be here all the time. Or if you have to leave, the more advance notice, the better.
Right.
But because we're going to create these little accountability teams,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to let the group create a norm around attendance. Like, we'll suggest it, but the group can kind of create a norm. And if they feel they can cover for somebody missing one, and they'll step up to the plate, provide the missing pieces, and then we'll empower them to do that. So it's, again, having to be at every single thing is not a hard, fast rule, but it's an expectation.
Right. So, because again, the goal is this is different.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not showing up for a course and you're done and
Or canceling last minute, or no
Right.
showing. You know how a lot of times some of the classes, around campus,
right. That
it's people
People can't
they'll
do
sign
it.
up, and then at the last minute, I got too much to do. That's not going to work in this program.
So I want to be sensitive with our time, but a couple questions. I have to always ask this. Now, this program is unique because there's going to be a commencement, a celebration, and that's a big deal because this is going to involve senior leadership
Yeah.
from the university.
Yeah,
Their
their supervisors will be there.
the managers of the participants.
It's a graduation.
So, what's that going to look like? And do I use the dreaded word speech?
Yes.
Or what would that be?
Yes. Well, there'll actually be two parts to it. One part will be each individual will give a 5-minute commencement speech. And the commencement speech will be very personal. It's like what I got out of this experience and how I plan to use it. And rightfully so, because we want them to then take it to the next level.
Yeah.
The other part will be some kind of group project summary. Now, that might not be everybody, but it's going to be putting closure on the group project. And, here's what we did, and here were our results. And so that's going to be the main focus of the commencement.
So, but it really what's not unique about this program, there's a true beginning and an end. I mean, it's an established
Yeah.
program, and how do you see this might evolve over?
Yeah.
I mean, we've joked about different things, but how do you see this as it grows?
Well, as you know, it's a pilot program. So we are experimenting, and we are kind of stepping out of the lines with the traditional leadership academy on purpose, because we want to lead in this. We don't want to just duplicate.
Right.
Right, and that's just what we're all about. And so, so a couple things. One is, we might eventually create two versions. One version maybe for people in senior leadership. I mean, maybe that's customized more to their needs and their growth development, while still maintaining this one for anybody and everybody, so that there's always that mix. And I can envision, because we're currently working on a mentor piece that hasn't been finalized, but it'll be real exciting if we can pull this off, about who might be mentors to these people in the Leadership Academy
Yes.
during the program. But I could envision also that the graduates maybe become mentors to the next class. And then next class, do it like that.
Yep.
So there's a continuity between classes. And maybe they'll even be having a role in the next project, so they can advise them on their experiences. So that's one evolution I could see.
So then, with that, what are some other programs topics coming up related or I don't know, tied to, but not necessarily linked with that.
I guess this is
'Cause
probably
this is
an
part of a
opportunity
theme.
for us to plug some of the things we're doing.
It is. So
and
it's a shameless plug, but it's a good one.
Well, yeah,
right?
because it's all part of the bigger picture of what we're creating,
Right.
which is really a culture of professional development,
That's right.
amongst other things. But that would be it. So we know that there's going to be a professional development week in February,
Right.
February 15th and 19th. That's a first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to involve a keynote speaker every evening from 4 to 5, and then a big luncheon on Friday with our biggest name speaker, inspirational speaker, Ed Tate.
That's right.
E.D. Ed Tate, T-A-T-E. And that's going to kind of kick off a lot of what we're doing, even though the Leadership Academy will already be in progress.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently creating what's called the Colorado 14ers People Development Program,
Right.
which more's coming out on that, but basically that's going to be a program that's going to integrate all aspects of professional development on campus into a centralized place where people can go and get credit, acknowledgments, certificates, prizes. I mean, it's going to be everything from inclusive excellence, sustainability, wellness, to leadership, to supervisory skills, to campus safety and security, to, and all these
It
components.
really links the whole campus together.
Yeah, and that's being developed as we speak, and we're very close to almost rolling that out. There's going to be that. We have, of course, these Fridays at noon that are going to continue for the next 6 months, every other Friday, various educational topics. And all people have to do is go to the website to just see what we've already got, which is pretty in-depth on a lot of topics that we're doing.
It is.
There's
It is.
we got a mentor program already up and running and in place for any staff or faculty member. We've got one-on-one coaching for anybody just needing to work through an issue or to contemplate their next professional development move or whatever that is. We've got team building available to any faculty or staff group, and this is all free, by the way.
Right.
These are all services we didn't have a year ago.
Right.
And then we've got assorted professional development classes, and we're just about to finish our first, that we created, a 360 assessment for managers who want to be evaluated by all the people around them, and we have our own, and it's about to roll out December 1st.
Well, and what I am excited about and appreciate about this, I mean, the Leadership Academy is really one of our kind of the flagship, but ultimately the philosophy behind this is that we all as employees, we own our own development.
Yeah.
And it's fine and good for an employer to say that, and people go, yeah, right. But we can say that now because, yes, employees, faculty, and staff own that, but there are now resources for them to reach onto.
Yeah.
And professional development is not about promotion, at least in the immediate term perhaps, but it's about growth for people, whether within the organization, department, unit, or frankly, even without, for people in the 21st century to be competitive and grow. So this is a much bigger, it isn't just about DU. It is, but it's not.
Right.
This is the real thing now. So I'm excited about that.
Well, and the big question for a manager or supervisor, is first off, do you support professional development for your own staff? And if so, are you encouraging them to do it? And
That's
then
right.
are they stepping up to the plate and taking advantage of it?
That's right.
Both those pieces have got to be in place.
That's right.
And and in my opinion, that's kind of, I think, employee at the University of Denver that can really make this place go to the next levels, people that want to be part of the solution and are not just along for the ride.
That's right.
And so we're creating those opportunities for them.
So this is just a number of programs we have. I don't know if there's any final thought you might have. I think you encapsulated
No, November
it awfully
4th
well.
is the deadline.
November 4th.
And by the way, since only 15 people would be selected, we're going to go out of our way to make sure anybody that wasn't selected sees all these other avenues, and then we encourage them to apply again for the next round because, we can only take 15.
Right. So, So really, please keep it in mind. Look into this. Call us if you have questions. And thank you, Greg and Michael, executive producer. Thank you for joining us today, and have a great weekend.
See you. It's rolling.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, then I should roll. All right. Well, welcome to the special edition of Fridays at Noon. Okay, cut. Stop. All right. Sorry.
What, was he making faces?
He was smiling. Well, thank you. See, I like her. You're out. She's our new executive producer. All right. So no. All right.
Now you got your blooper.
Thinking too hard.